Thank you for watching another presentation of the Silentsports video blog, the SSVB, episode 211. Today's date is November 26, 2022. I'm Troy West, and thank you for joining me. Another Silentsports video blog. I appreciate you guys so much for the support. Thanks for joining me this morning. I always say 10, that's usually my target time, but I started recording at approximately 9:08 Eastern Standard Time, so it's probably not going to post till closer to 10:30. Hopefully we're not on too long today. No baseball news, so we're going to go straight to the NBA as we'll take a look at the Pat Bev suspension, as he got 3 games by the NBA for shoving DeAndre Ayton earlier this week. We'll take a look at that, my opinion on that, and our NBA up and down segment that we started a couple weeks ago. Teams that's trending up and down in both conferences, so we'll look at that. NFL Week 12 got off to a great start on Thanksgiving. 3 decent games on Thanksgiving, so we're going to look back at those 3 games. Then our Big 5 games of the week. Not a lot of intriguing games, but I picked some games for certain reasons. I'll explain that, and we'll pick the rest of the games for the rest of Week 12. Nobody on bye this week, so everybody played, but I think the bye week start back up again for Week 13. And then my final thoughts, we got some other sports to talk about. We'll touch on the World Cup. We'll look at the USA 2 draws in their first week of World Cup play. And college football, big games today, rivalry week. A lot of some games been played, but of course the big one, Ohio State, Michigan, going to definitely set up what's going to go on with the college football playoff. As championships week is next week, so college football season is winding down. We'll take a deeper look into that, and then just what's coming up on the channel. But let's go ahead and get into the NBA. This week, Pat Beverley, new guard for the LA Lakers. We know what he's about. Got suspended this week for shoving Phoenix Suns center DeAndre Ayton. Basically what happened was, I think after a foul or something, Lakers Austin Reeves was on the ground, so DeAndre Ayton sort of stood over him, and Pat Bev shoved DeAndre Ayton in the back, knocked him to the floor. A little bit pushing and shoving. Of course Beverly was ejected after that. NBA gave him 3 games. As far as let's get this out the way, as far as the games, I think that's fine because of his history, his little things that he does. I don't want to say 30, but I mean, he's done some things like when he pushed Chris Paul was at a playoff series. I think he was still with the Clippers then. You know, just the things that he do, but at the same time, you gotta respect. You would want him on your team. Just put it that way. You don't want him. You don't want to play against him. You don't want him on the other side. It will irritate you. But you definitely want him on your team. You could have let that go. Somebody had to do something to protect your teammate. And he's all about that. Not playing well this year on the court. So I think that's why, you know, it's some people saying what they saying, like basically, he ain't worth it, and you don't need him. But I would want him on my team. Now I don't know, I might give him about, depends on how well he's playing. Like, I see how well he's playing. If he's playing well, I'll leave him in longer, but I still put him in like 10-15 minutes a game. Or if I need him to sort of get in somebody's head, I throw him out there to, let him do his thing. I think the NBA, I ain't gonna want to say that I don't like the way it's going as far as, the game getting negative. I ain't even want to use the word soft, but it's basically the physicality is getting taken out the game. But like I said, I grew up in the 90s era, so it's like I'm used to that physical play, that that dog, that somebody that get up in you. I'm definitely think it need to be 1 or 2 guys. I don't want to call them goons, because goons is different. I don't think you need goons. I think the goons is out because there's just certain things you can't do anymore. So you don't need a goon, but you do need somebody that's a great defensive player also, even though he slipped a little bit on that. But I'm okay with everything. I'm okay with the NBA doing what they did. I'm okay with Pat Bev doing what he did. You gotta protect your teammate. And he has some history with the Suns, like I said, with Chris Paul. So but just the history that he's done, pushed people, you know, just things that he's done in the past. I understand 3 games ain't too much, but I think also it was necessary for somebody. It don't even have to be him. Somebody had to go over there and protect Austin Reeves on the ground. You just don't let that happen, you know, because it could disrupt your whole team if nobody would have went over there and did what they did. So Pat Bev, like I said, I respect him, man. I think, you know, he still got a place in the NBA. Got to play better, though. He do got to play better. His numbers looking terrible, especially on the offensive side. But you need a guy on your team like that, somebody that's not afraid of anybody, that's going to protect you, or going to have your back. I didn't necessarily say protect, but have your back when things like that happen, because you can't get walked over literally in the game of sports, because that'll just disrupt everything. So I'm glad he did it, but you know, the 3 games to me is not excessive. There's a few people saying it's excessive. Some people say it should do. Now I don't think it should be more than 3 games, but I understand, you know, the 3 games. The 3 games to me is perfect. You know, to me, I don't think he needed to be like 5 games, 10 games, something crazy like that. Because then if that's the case, then they need to look at everybody else that was involved, Aiton, for doing it, and you know, because things got a little testy after that anyway. So I think it's a perfect thing, and I think Pat Bev, you know, I don't think he should be. I think he's, like I said, he's needed on a team. You know, maybe to not the extreme as him sometimes, but he's needed definitely on the NBA team. So just go ahead and take your 3 games, bro, and just be back. Lakers got to get better though overall anyway. Okay, let's move on to our up and down segment for the week. This week it was kind of hard to pick some teams. So some of these teams I picked, I just put on there, just, you know, just to give them some respect. But really, for real, you know, this week it was hard to really find some teams for up and some teams for down. But I always like to start with up. Let's start positive first. In the East, I'm gonna say Boston. Boston, to me, I think, yeah, they got the talent and everything else, but them losing Udoka, and I'm not saying that he looks bad because he don't, but them losing him, I really just thought they just would be the same. I knew they would still be decent. I still think they would be good, but not this good. 15-4 to begin the season. Another win last night over the upstart Kings, with the Kings about to get some love as well. Just so what they've been doing without Udoka is great. You know, I thought it would be too much distractions, and then the thing going on with Jaylen Brown, of course, off the court as well. You know, he's sort of in the Kyrie mix, but not as much. He just spoke his opinion, but every day that's going on around that organization, that team, still to be 15-4, you got to give them credit. So I got them in there again. I think they was in it last week as well. Cleveland Cavs, they back at it again because, like I said, still surprised. Even though you thought they would be better, but just some of the wins that they have, I think they really a legit team in the East. At 12-7, so they're in the up category this week as well. And Indiana Pacers, gotta give them love. Can't name too many guys on that team, but the Pacers, and I'm about to talk about the Kings as well. You know, the Pacers are in trade talks. You know, well, they was, but Buddy Hield is there, Miles Turner. They're the 2, you know, probably the 2 best players in a way, but want to add to another team. But they play pretty good basketball at 11-7, so I give them some love here. And I just talked about the Kings. They're my only West team this week. The West is pretty much bunched up so far this year. No team has pulled away. Phoenix is actually on top of the conference with 12 wins, 12-6. Denver at 12-7. So, like, you go from 1 to 10 is only separated by 1 to 11 is only separated by 3 games. So nobody is pulled away. That's why even like the Lakers still, if they can turn it around, still have a chance to do something. They're not way out of it yet because no one is pulled away. Like Boston clearly had the best record in basketball at 15-4. But the Kings, Sacramento, you know, 10-8. You said okay, they just 10-8, but who expected them to be as competitive they are? They scored the ball very, very well. Got to get better defensively, but they scored the ball very, very well. De'Aaron Fox coming into his own. the Sabonis kid has always been good. He was in Indiana, speaking of the Pacers. But the Kings, I think they're going to hang around. I don't think this is just a fluke or just because things ain't going well. I really believe they might at least make the play-in. So look out for the Kings this year, and I'll keep an eye on them the rest of the season. Alright, let's go to the down part of it. Now, these teams really, it was hard to find some down teams this week because these teams have either been around and they're down, or they're only down because they're not, you think they're going to turn it around. So this is more of a sort of indirect motivation. But the Brooklyn Nets in the East, they're the only East team in there. It's just too much stuff going on. Now something going on with Ben Simmons. What's going on with him? Well, that Sixers loss, that's, to me, even though I think now maybe he could move past it, so it's a positive you can take out of it. But they lost the game with no Harden, no Joel Embiid. It's still like, you just can't lose a game like that. They pretty much had they full squad. Kyrie even played, so to me that was a bad loss on national television. So hopefully the loss will motivate them. I really think I'm disappointed in Brooklyn because I believe in them. I guess it's more because of what I believe in, not necessarily anybody else's opinion. I just think if you look at that roster, they got one of the best rosters in basketball. Just play to your strengths. Like, Ben, forget about scoring and shooting and all that. Just, you're a good distributor of the basketball. Run the point. What I'm saying? Take some pressure off Kevin. Kevin, just do you. You just Kevin Durant, just do your thing. Kyrie, and forget the off-court stuff because, like I said, I'm sort of with him on that. Like, I think the whole thing got blown out of proportion. But at the same time, you just gotta be focused. That's all. Just gotta be more focused. Do your thing because he can run the point sometimes too. And then the piece around him, Joe Harris. I guess who's the other kid from India? Used to play in Indiana. TJ Warren. I think he's hurt. But he get him back. Royce O'Neal has played well. Now they kind of small in the middle. I like Royce O'Neal, but he's kind of small. But he's Royce Claxton. I'm sorry. He's got to play better. But I like their roster, man. Steph Curry, just play to y'all strengths, man. Got to get better defensively as well. So I believe in that. So this is more of a motivation thing. They 9-11, so they definitely can still turn it around. But I think they need to play better. In the West, I got the Dallas Mavericks. And like I said, they're not playing bad, but I think they could be better. But I think, like I said, they got a ceiling because Luka just don't have what he, it's just Luka really. Now Spencer Dinwiddie could be that number 2 guy, consistent scorer. Everybody else are just 3 and D guys, which I think is good to have around Luka because Luka could like to handle the basketball. But I think the bigs got to play a little bit better. I like Christian Wood, like what he does. So Dallas just got to get it together, just play a little bit better. The Memphis Grizzlies, they suffer injuries. No Desmond Bane. Ja got a little bit of a bump injury. I thought he was going to be out for weeks, but he's been playing. So I don't know if they just thought he was going to be out for weeks or something, but I think they need to play a little bit better. Jared Jackson got to get it together a little bit to me. Dylan Brooks as well. Desmond Bane is stepping to his own, but I think those 2 guys, you expected them to be better players by now. So Grizzlies, this is a little motivation tactic for y'all because I really believe y'all 2 teams can really make some noise in the Western Conference. So that is it for that this week. Hopefully it'll be some clear teams next week, but it was just hard to pick some downs this week because these teams is already here. So so hopefully they improve. Maybe they'll be flipping and be on the up part. Excuse me. Next week. Okay, let's get into the NFL. NFL Week 12, already off to a full swing. Hope everybody enjoyed their holiday, by the way. As we look back at these Thanksgiving games, we'll go by the time of games that came on. First game of the day was the Bills and the Lions. Detroit Lions, I mean, they lost again, and I think no excuses, and I don't think the way Dan Campbell is, I don't think he would use an excuse. Could have won this game, but fell short. Of course, the biggest play was the Stephon Diggs pretty much in the fourth quarter took over the game for the Bills. Now the Bills, they're not talking about the Lions, talking about the Bills first. Right now, I can't say, I picked them to make it to the Super Bowl. I'm a little worried about the Rams. I'm out on the Rams. I'm done with the Rams. So, in NFC, I really know the NFC is wide open. But the Rams, I don't think they might not even make the playoffs. And then they got a tough game this week at Kansas City. I'm gonna put a poll up. We're gonna talk about that game because that's on my Big Five. Because it was hard to pick some Big Five games. There were a lot of good games Thursday. But Buffalo, to me, just too flawed. Now they said Josh Allen dealing with an injury, but even still, I just think the Von Miller thing is going to be big. It's not a torn ACL, but he's hurt. He's going to be out. It's no timetable, so I'm guessing he'll at least miss a few games. But as long as he's back for the playoffs, that's great. But they're going to need him. I don't know, they go through these moments when they look great, and then, especially on offense, and then it's just stagnant. I don't know what's been going on here, but I think it's the consistent running game. And I like, who's they running back? Drawing a blank. But they don't have no consistent running game. The Bills, like I said, they just don't look good to me enough to win a championship. I think they still got to get it together. Dang, who's the running back's name? Gee, me Christmas. But anyway, sorry, I always get these blank stirs. So if you know who it is, it's on the tip of my tongue. I just can't get it out. I should just look it up. For sure, I'm gonna look it up. But yeah, I think that's why the offense sometimes just sort of gets stagnant. Because really, Josh Allen, he's the leading rusher, so that's not good when your quarterback's your leading rusher. See, he's the leading rusher in this game, so I was hoping I could find it real quick. So now I gotta go to the box score. But yeah, they gotta improve defensively sometimes. Like I said, I think Von Miller with Devin Singletary. There we go. Sorry for the blank, but he has to run the ball better. Even though he had a good game, he had 5 yards a carry, 14 carries. So maybe they need to give him the ball more. Cause I was about to say he had some good runs in the game, but you gotta just stick to it. I mean, I think that's sometimes too. Some running backs get a bad name because they don't give you the ball enough to get the big runs and the yards. But I think they need to dedicate to the run more. But I think still sprinkle in Josh Allen, even though, like I said, he's hurt right now. Now let's go back to Detroit. The Lions, like I said, I think they treaded in the right direction overall where they want to go. But I think they need to, they just couldn't finish the game. Like I said, why you should have played the straight up defense. I think they was playing some type of prevent or some type of deep zone, and that left Diggs right through the middle. Where the Bills still have timeouts, so of course they could go in the middle. Still got that field goal range, won the game. But I like the way Detroit's headed. I think eventually they have to move off of Jared Goff. I just don't think he's the guy. I mean, he's talented, but I don't think he's the guy that's going to push you over the top. Or you got to either invest in, the running game has been good for Detroit this year. I like that kid Williams. They got the 13 touchdowns. So the running game is okay. But I think you need to surround them with a little bit better receivers. Offensive line have to stay intact. you can win with Goff, but I don't think he's like the guy that's gonna just take over a game and win it for you. You gonna have to surround him with some talent. Defense have to get better. Defense to me is a little bit disappointing, but I like the way the lines are going. Middle game was the Dallas Mavericks, the Dallas Cowboys and the New York Giants. Let's talk about the Giants. The Giants, I don't know, they just, like I said, I don't want to say they frosted. I think they 7-4. I think that record is real to an extent. You know, I think they got some good things going, but they just, you could just tell they're not on that elite level of teams in the NFL. Dallas, like I said, just like Buffalo, they showed championship type of football. Like the first half was terrible. Turnovers all over the place. Dak Prescott was all over the place, but he turned it over in the second half. I give him that. The running game got together. Zeke Elliott came through for him. 28-20 was the final. But I think you can look at it both ways. You can look at it and say this game was closer than it was because of how bad Dallas played in this first half. And you can say with the opportunities Dallas missed, this should have been a blowout too. So you can look at it, to me, both sides. Now Dallas, they might crack my power rankings this week. You can check out my power rankings or all my social media, even on my community tab here. Did I do it this week? I think I did. They might crack my top 5 in my power rankings, but to me, just still a little inconsistent. But we'll see what they do against Philadelphia in a few weeks, as they have them again. So we'll see what the Cowboys are. But NFC, like I said, is wide open. There's no clear-cut team. You see, even though we're about to talk about the Vikings, you can't put them up top there without a challenge. NFC West is Seattle. Seattle has flaws. You don't know what they're going to be. Tampa's still trying to get themselves together. And then, like I said, Eagles, like I said, to me, the last few weeks haven't looked that great either, even though they've still been winning. So there's no clear-cut NFC team. So Dallas definitely still have a chance to do something. And then the night game, New England at Minnesota. Like I said, Vikings just got dominated by the Cowboys, but played good in this game offensively. Like I said, Kirk Cousins, you can see still a little bit of Kirk Cousins, but the kid Jefferson is just unbelievable, the wide receiver, breaking all types of records. Definitely making Vikings records, but he's making all-time records by yards in the first 3 seasons, so he's about to shatter that record. Still like 5 games left, so Vikings, like I said, defensively, like I said, definitely flawed on that side of the ball. Need to improve. Like, if the defense give you anything, Minnesota can still be that team. But if the defense don't give you nothing, then that's what's going to hurt them in the end. New England, Patriots, like I said, they fought a little bit. Matt Jones looked good at times. I think he probably acquired the zappy stuff and all that for now, but Patriots still not out of it in that division. Just starting to fall down a little bit. We'll see what Miami do this weekend. I'm high on Miami because they haven't lost without Tua in there. And the Bills look a little flawed here. I think they play next week, I believe. Bills and Patriots. So that's going to be an interesting game. And New England got a shot to win that game. But 6-5. I don't know if they snuck into the playoffs last year. Might be too many AFC teams this year, but we'll see. But I sort of took some positive out of the Patriots, so we'll see what they do next week with a big game against Buffalo. All right, so let's go to our Week 12 picks now. Let's go ahead and move to our picks. I got my big 5 games listed here. Like I said, not a lot of matchups that stick out to you. There's only one to me that's probably the biggest game of the weekend, and I'll talk about that. But like I do every week, I'm going to pick all the games, but I'm going to spend more time on my big 5, more detailed on those games. So let's get started. Ravens at Jaguars. Ravens, like I said, me as a Ravens fan, to me, gotta improve. You know, they've gotten better with finishing games, which is great. 7-3, leading the division. Jaguars, though, a little feisty team. Trevor Lawrence seems like he's improving. I like Etienne, the running back, but like I said, Jacksonville's defense got to get better. Ravens are 3.5 favorites. I think that's fair, because the Ravens seem like they always hit close games no matter what. I want to say this is a trap game, but I mean, you got to watch the Jaguars. They going to roll over, so the Ravens got to be careful, but I think they go in there and they win the game. Like I said, I just want to see, as a Ravens fan, I think I said this last week, against who they played last week. They barely won, the Carolina Panthers. I wanted to see just a blowout, just a dominant game from beginning to end. And I'm going to ask for it again this week. I see that. I feel more confident for them going forward. If not, then I'm going to be afraid once they play a better team, they just can't, they're not going to be able to close them out. So I want to see a blowout. I want to see pretty much a blowout, at least a 10-point win or more. You always get up 10 in every game. They wound up winning the Carolina game by 10 exactly. I want to see at least a 10-point win this week as a Ravens fan. So hopefully they can do it. This game ain't my big five. It's not an intriguing game. It's an intriguing game for storylines. 5-5 Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the Cleveland Browns, who are 3-7. Tampa's a 3.5 point favorite. Now, I'm about to look it up now. I think Deshaun Watson might be playing this week. Or he's close to playing. Let's see. I think they is saying here that Jacoby Brissett will start. Okay, so yeah, the Brissett will start, but then next week they expect Deshaun Watson to be ready. And I think you got to get him in there as your Cleveland to see what he is. He didn't look great in preseason, but it's just preseason. Maybe they just didn't want to, insert him and get him hurt. So Jacoby Brissett will start for Cleveland. But the Buccaneers, like I said, 5-5. But the NFC South is NFC South is so bad. I think they still in first place with that record. But Tampa got to start moving. This is the time of year that Tom Brady usually turns it on. So I want to see that. But the Browns, 3-7, but they a lot better than what they are. Like I said, they shoot themselves in the foot. Brissett, usually not a turnover machine, but he's turned the ball over. Browns get a little too cute, so they're just running the ball with Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. So the Buccaneers better watch it. This could be a game they could lose. But there's all the surrounding storylines with Watson and everything else. So, but he ain't gonna start till next week. So, I expect the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to win this game. I think it's gonna be close. Another game that made my big fan out. This is the reason, because this is really a big game in the AFC. The Cincinnati Bengals at the Tennessee Titans. Of course, it's the rematch of the AFC divisional playoff game last year, where the Titans sacked Joe Burrow 9 times and still lost the game. Cincinnati starting to get their feet wet a little bit, but I think they without Joe Mixon this week. Still no Jamar Chase, so we'll see. The Titans, like I said, Titans quiet 7-3, but they not no team to sneeze at here. This game to me is hard because I really like Tennessee. I think I like what they stand for. Like I said, Mike Vrabel got them guys ready. Cincinnati though, Joe Burrow's resilient. I think I'm gonna go with the Titans here. I'm gonna give the Titans some respect, and I think they'll win this game. I think it's gonna be a close, tight game, but I think at home, I think maybe they see something they can get to Burrow again. I think Jamar Chase, they gonna be able to bail them out. They still got some talented receivers though, and then no Joe Mixon to me. So with that being said, I think Tennessee winds up winning this game. And if they do, you gotta take them serious in the AFC. AFC, like I said, well, both conferences, but the AFC, really, you just looking at who you looking at in the AFC, really? Well, you was looking at Buffalo, but they struggling a little bit. Kansas City, that's the team I'm thinking about. Chiefs, to me, like I said, they are on another level right now. Yeah, you really can't understand why they lost to the Colts, and who else they lose to, but they got 2 losses. You really kind of baffled, like, how they got 2 losses. But, and like I said, even though the way the Chiefs win is sort of, you know, down to the wire type wins, but they do it all the time, so that's why I take more to that as being a skill than it is luck. So, but other than the Chiefs, really, I mean, who else in the AFC are you really afraid of? You know, so this is an opportunity for the Titans to establish. They was the #1 seed last year, even though I didn't really feel they was the #1. I still was, you know, I would have picked Kansas City if they'd have got by Cincinnati. But I picked Cincinnati to be upset them anyway. It's just the way it happened was kind of weird. But big game. If the Bengals win this game, they can stay afloat and get back into the postseason. So this is a huge game in the AFC, but I think the Titans will pull it off. Texas at Dolphins. I expect the Miami blowout. Miami's 14-point favorites. Texas, though, like I said, even though they 1-8-1, like I said, they sort of still weirdly be staying in games. But I think Miami, I'm going to show what they are. The Dolphins, to me, a sleepy AFC team. Like I said, they're in my power rankings. I like what they doing. Like I said, if Tua plays, they win. It's just that simple. So, but I think they'll pull away in the second half. I think Houston will give them a game in the first half. I think Miami will pull away at home and win. I think 14 points is high. Anything over 10 in the NFL is high. I don't give a damn what the matchup is. So, but they might make that 14-point spread. Bears at Jets. This actually made my top 5 games of the week. 3-8 Chicago at 6-4 Jets. You heard the Jets. They benched Zach Wilson. They're gonna go with Mike White. And actually, Wilson is the 3rd string. Well, he's not even active for this game, so they all the way benched him now. Is it because of what he said in the press conference, or is it because of his play? It could be a little bit of both. I think that what he said in the press conference maybe made it easier for Robert Saleh to bench him. And he hasn't played well, even though the Jets have been winning. Like I said, the Jets, defensively, they nasty, they get after you. Like I said, they just need to be more consistent on the offensive end. The Bears, you know, with Justin Fields, and I mean, maybe, which I'm kind of, you know, I thought for pride that they would start Zach Wilson because, you know, basically you passed on Justin Fields. So I thought they would just start Wilson just to say, look, you know, we're going to put our guy against your guy, you know, prove you wrong or whatever. So, or we'll beat your guy. So I'm kind of a little bit surprised by the timing of the benching, even though he's ain't been playing well. But anyway, so you get to see Justin Fields up close. He's setting some records running the football. I think he's a decent pass. I think the Bears have decided, like I said, they decided to pretty much punt on this season, but they've been in some games as well. This is gonna be an interesting game, but I'm gonna go with the Jets at home. The Bears pretty much have been letting me down with picks lately, so I'm pretty much not going to touch them until they win a game. So I'm gonna go with the Jets here. But the storylines around this game is huge with the 2 quarterbacks, even though Zach Wilson is not even playing. But I said the Jets would be a decent team when I saw them in week 1. So, but imagine this: they could be 8-2 right now. They lost last week against the Patriots, and then the other loss the other week, I forgot who they lost to. It was a close game. So, but we'll see what happens here in this game. But I'm gonna go with the Jets. They 6-point favorites, and I think they'll win this game. Falcons and Commanders. This is an interesting game. Sneakily, I almost put this on my list. Commanders at 6-5, even though they're still last place in their division. Falcons right there in the South. Been hanging in there. But I like the way Washington. I like their vibe right now. Even though, like I said, you get the stuff that's going on behind the scenes in their organization. But I like their vibe. I like the Falcons. I like the Commanders vibe. I think they win this game at home. Might be another close game again, but I think they believe in Tyler Heineke. Like I said, I like Tyler Heineke. He's giving them a spark. So I'm not surprised they stand with him. I think Washington wins. Another game. This made my big five because of the storylines. Broncos at Panthers. Broncos, of course, Russell Wilson. Yeah, it's come out that he's hurt and stuff, but he's still getting a lot of criticism how he's played this year. Broncos probably one of the most disappointing teams in the NFL. Carolina Panthers, you sort of expected them to be here, but not Baker Mayfield with all the turmoil. I think Sam Darnold's getting the start. Let me check that, because I think they said they were going to go with Sam Darnold instead of Baker. But every day still surrounded Baker. Yep. So yeah, they're gonna see what Sam Darnold can do. He gets to start over Baker Mayfield. So Panthers and Broncos had problems. Unfortunately, I think some of the pundits are right about the Broncos coach. I think they might wind up letting him go because you can't let Russell Wilson go. You owe too much money. So he might just be the scapegoat, and they might try to get a guy that can work a little bit better with Russ. But this game, like I said, both of these teams expected better results, but haven't gotten them. But I'm gonna go with Denver. I just think Denver's a slightly better team, and then Sam Darnold haven't played all year, so that Denver defense to me, I heard a crazy stat that if they would they average under 20 points, they average like 17 points a game, 15, 16 points, something like that. If they was averaging 20 points a game, they'd be 9-1 right now, or some crazy stuff like that. That's nuts. That your defense has played that well. So I think the defense would be. I think this game would be good enough for the defense to win for them. So I'm gonna go with Denver to pull the upset. But there's a lot of stuff. I mean, to get the win, I wouldn't call it upset necessarily. And they 1-point favorites, by the way. But I just think they the overall just a better team. Even though the Panthers to be shown, been showing some fight a little bit, but I think Denver wins. Chargers Cardinals. Chargers at 5-5. Cardinals 4-7. Chargers at 3-point favorites. Had a rough last two games. Played San Francisco and Kansas City back-to-back weeks. Lost them both to get back to 500. Cardinals. Say Kyler Murray looks great in practice and all this other stuff. So hopefully, so he'll be ready to come back and play. As they played Colt McCoy, I think, the last couple of weeks. I'll go with the Chargers here. I like, even though they lost the last two games, I watched both games. They both were Sunday night games. I like the way Herbert looked. I think it'll be enough. I think they beat the Cardinals on the road. Raiders Seahawks. Gotta go with the Seahawks here. Raiders played a little bit better the last few weeks. Got the big overtime win last week against Denver, but I still just think they missing something. It's like the soul has been taken out the Raiders for some reason. I just don't get it. Josh McDaniels, maybe he's just not, like I said, maybe he's not head coach material. I don't know, but Seahawks, was ahead of bye last week, coming from London, from Germany. I think that's where they played Tampa at. Geno Smith having a good year. I think if he continue to ride, it's hard to beat them at home. So I'm going to go with the Seattle Seahawks with the win here. Seattle is a 4-point favorite, by the way. Now, we finally got to this game. Rams at Chiefs. Everybody thought this was going to be a Super Bowl a couple years ago. Rams are struggling at 3-7. Chiefs 8-2, riding high. I think they continue. They trend. They 15.5-point favorites in this game. 15.5. Even though the Rams have played so bad, that's just too high. I don't know, but I'm gonna put a poll up. and see if anybody think they're gonna cover. I don't think they're gonna cover. I think they might beat them by more than 10, but I don't know if they're gonna cover that 15.5. We'll see. But Rams, like I said, just so many problems this season. The Super Bowl hangover was supposed to go the other way, right? But they can say like they got a hangover. Matthew Stafford haven't been healthy all year. Been in and out the concussion protocol. Cooper Kupp has been trying his best, but defensively they've been a little bit disappointing. Aaron Donald's having a quiet year. Jalen Ramsey been saying some stuff, so we'll see. This would be a huge. Somehow they could pull an upset. This would be a huge. That's why it's like the Rams still have the talent, so that's why I don't personally think they're gonna cover that 15. I don't think they're gonna win the game, but I think they will at least avoid that 15-point loss. So, but I'm gonna go with the Chiefs to win the game. Chiefs to be best team in football right now. They on top of my power rankings. Patrick Mahomes look like Patrick Mahomes. Travis Kelce like Travis Kelce. But it's been the other guys stepping up and making the names for themselves. Everybody thought Tyreek Hill loss would be huge, but it hasn't been that huge. They found other weapons. Patrick Mahomes is just Patrick Mahomes. And defensively, the Chiefs have played well. And I think that's the difference here. I think they win this game, but the 15.5 point spread to me, if I was a betting man, I would bet against that. But I got the Chiefs winning. Okay, just a few games left. Saints 49ers. Saints been up and down this year. It's another road game. San Francisco look like they started to get their legs. I think I don't want to say overrated, but I think, like I said, they talked about too much. Everybody think they're gonna fix it and move on this run. We'll see. They might do, but maybe it'll start with this game. I think it started a couple of weeks ago. They was what, 5-4 or 6 or 4-4 or something like that. So 9.5 might be too high, but I think they win. Sunday night, Packers at Eagles. Eagles has been, like I said, haven't been looking that great. Packers still decent defensively. Aaron Rodgers can turn it on. But I think Philadelphia do enough to win this game. They 6.5 favorites. I'll go with the Eagles here on Sunday Night Football. And then our Monday night game this week is the Pittsburgh Steelers at the Indianapolis Colts. I think TJ Watt is back. I saw there. The Colts, though, like I said, Jeff Saturday don't look too bad as his coach. They didn't win last week, but they got the win against the Raiders the week before, and they was in a tight game this week. I think they do it at home. Steelers, to me, I think I like what I'm seeing, though. I think I like what I see out of Kenny Pickett so far. I think this is good to get him his experience this year. He ain't going nowhere. Get him his experience, so by next year I think he'll be a better player. But I think the Colts win. It'll be tight, but I think the Colts win. And that is our Week 12 picks in NFL this week. Okay, let's move on. Let's do some final thoughts. Let's talk about the World Cup. I'm not really into soccer really, but World Cup is always huge for around the world. Let's give you an update right now. It is 10 minutes to 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Poland is leading Saudi Arabia 2-0 right now. Australia beat Tunisia this morning. You got France, Denmark later on, and then Argentina and Mexico is the late game today. Let's look at, like I said, the U.S. tied in both their first two games. So we're going to look at some of the group standings here. Really nobody's gone 2-0 yet. Some teams haven't even played 2 games yet, though. Let's see. Okay, so it's still real early. So the U.S. is in Group E, right? Or Group B, okay. With 2 draws, so third is, I think you gotta finish at least second, so U.S. gotta get a win in the next match if they're gonna move on to the round of 16. But it says there's been a couple of upsets so far, so we'll see. There's been a lot of draws too, so we'll see. But we'll take a look at this next week. I think by next week it might be the round of 16, but hopefully USA make it. But they said the USA, like, even though they got 2 draws, they wasn't expected to win. They were expected to lose against England for sure, but even the draw against Wales was okay. So we'll see. Hopefully they can do it. But like I said, there's been teams off to slow starts to contenders, so maybe US can win the next game. Now college football, there's some huge college football games today. Of course, Michigan Ohio State is the biggest one, 3-2. So the loser might still, I think the loser don't have no more games, because I think the winner will go to the Big Ten title game. Clemson got upset last week. They played South Carolina today. Auburn, Alabama, always huge, even though Auburn ain't as good this year, but game to watch out for. Oregon State, that have some implications of the TCUs. I say TCU last 2 games, they haven't looked that great. They number 4, they undefeated, but take a watch out for them. Penn State, Michigan State, that's a big one. LSU, Texas A&M. LSU is 5th, so they hoping one of those top teams lose. Notre Dame has turned it on. And then USC, that's a game to watch out for. Tennessee, Vanderbilt, Washington State. Ole Miss got upset yesterday by Mississippi State. So, but Ohio State, Michigan, always a big game. That's the biggest one, 3-2. So we have to watch out for that. So I'm running out of time, so let me go ahead and wrap this video up. Of course, today I made a mistake and forgot to download my Madden. I was going to do a Madden video today, so that's not happening, but for that I'm going to do another Sonic Origins video as I started playing the classic mode again, be part 2, my second playthrough on YouTube. So I do one of those videos. I do a God of War video as well, so that'll be the makeup for not doing the Madden video. So I apologize for that. I might sneak a Call of Duty video in there too. I did 2 quick ones yesterday, so look out for that. And just wanted to say, we had 130 subscribers, which I appreciate very, very much. Been a holiday week, so thanks to everybody who's been supportive. Like I said, it's just like, I appreciate the support. It's just a little shaky. I guess I get sort of random support, from strangers. Shout out to my man Good Vibes. Haven't heard from him. He's probably busy with the holidays. One of my young subscribers, so I appreciate him. Ronald, Dragon of America, shout out to him. I put it on my community tab this morning as well. He peeks in every once in a while. I appreciate his support. And all my other YouTube families, Helping Hearts 888. But I guess my disappointment comes from my, more like my friends and family. I just wish I had a little bit more support from them. That's all, And I always use the analogy, like, if not saying this is a business, but this is like a business of mine, like I have friends with businesses I support. I buy something or just support. I don't, I just think the support is a little bit inconsistent. But I don't want to sit over here and complain too much. But like I said, because I appreciate everybody, because they support in other ways. They just don't directly support the channel, and they keep saying it's the content, which is fine. Most people don't like video games and sports. Well, I'm not gonna say most, but some people don't. So, but I guess I use the analogy because it's something I'm not interested in, like makeup or something, or just anything that you're not interested in. But if you supposedly my family, my friend, I'm gonna support it anyway, even though I might not care for the product or for what you're doing, as long as it ain't negative, But with that being said, I still appreciate them because they support me in other ways. So, but just wish I had more love from the people that's closer to me. That's all, And it's just, to go deeper, it's just, I just be feeling some type of way about it, to be honest. So I just want to get that out. But thank you guys again for support. I appreciate all the support. We'll be back next week. This week coming up, like I said, it'll just be mainly God of War. It's pretty much took it over the channel, but now I'm back on Sonic Origins, pretty much by demand, because that's where my views come from. So I already got what I'm saying, I still got multiple videos with thousands of views. So I'll be getting the views from Sonic Origins, but I'm hoping the other content, just take a look at the other content, that's all. But thanks so much. I appreciate it. I appreciate everything everybody does. Like I said, I just wish it was a little bit more supportive on a consistent basis. But we had 130. Hopefully we get to 200 before the year's out. Hope everybody have a good holiday weekend. I'm gonna go ahead and try to get this video up. It's already 10 o'clock, so like I said, I'm set around 10:30ish, maybe quarter to 11 the video will post. So thank you guys again. I'll see you guys next week. Check out my community posts. No videos tomorrow, but I'm gonna do a couple videos today, like I said. So sorry about the Madden thing, but thanks so much for watching. I'm sure everybody said thank you, and enjoy the football tomorrow, enjoy the football today, and enjoy your sports weekend. I hope everybody had happy holidays to everybody. I'm not a holiday guy, but still, holidays are bring back some positive things. So hope everybody did enjoy that as well. So with that being said, I'm out of here. Peace and love, everyone. I'll see you guys next week.